Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to do something just a little bit different. I actually wanted to show you guys how this ECC-50/100 by Firelight works. I feel like this is one of those panels where there are a lot of videos of it going off, of it being in action in systems and collectors and real buildings, but there's not a lot of videos of how it works, how it hooks up, and kind of how it all comes together and how it connects to the fire alarm panel and things like that. We're not gonna go over the tutorial on how to program it through the computer, but I will say that it is done through Ethernet cable from your computer to here, and it's done through a printer cable. I believe it's called USB-B. I don't know. But anyways, so here's the door. This does come off through these hinges. You just put it all the way over here and then you lift it up and it comes off. I'm going to put that over here. And then we have our ECC. This is our interface panel. So this is what controls all of the speakers. So like, for example, if I want to set the speakers off on a message, let's say I want to do the all clear message, I'll press system control, all call, and then I'll hit the button I want to press.
Your attention, please. The building emergency condition has been cleared. You may return to your normal activities.
You'll see the main console light, and all of these do turn on.
Return to your normal activities.
Then we'll turn that off. Now, if I just want to do specific speaker zones, let's say for the sake of the video, all of my speaker circuits are on 1. But let's pretend there are other speaker circuits around, let's pretend this big building. And we just want to page a specific zone. We can take this mic off. And we've already hit control, system control. And we have our microphone. All we got to do is press it. And it will only page these specific zones. So let's do that. This is a test of the fire alarm system. We are doing maintenance on the fire alarm system. Please disregard any alarms that may go off for the next hour. Thank you. So we'll see that we use the mic to page the fire alarm system. And then after we're done doing whatever we're doing, playing messages or talking, we can just either hit all call a couple times to turn it off, or we can individually unselect all of them. And then we can hit system control. One thing I found out is that you can have this on constantly, but if you have all call on for a certain amount of period of time, the panel goes into trouble. And I think that's because it's sending power to the speaker circuits, and it's actively ready to go. So if you constantly have that on, that may interfere with fire alarm stuff. I don't really know, but I just know it goes into trouble. Here are your message buttons. This is fire. Oh, I didn't select all that. My bad. Fire.
May I have your attention, please?
Oh, I have that set as a tone.
Attention. Your attention, please. The building
all clear too.
Your attention, please.
And then that's severe weather. And then I have that programmed as a steady ANSI whoop, or continuous whoop, sorry. These two I don't have programmed, so they won't do anything, but these are all programmed through the interface on the computer that I have. And so we'll just press all call, but this was the one we just did, the all clear. So now that we have kind of the interface all sorted out, we have a couple other things. So we have our interface here, but this does come off. You'll see there's a screw here, and then there's a screw at the bottom here. I don't have the bottom screw for the sake of time, but I do have the top screw on, and that's just loose enough where I can take this out. But basically what you do is you just lift it up, you unattach it, and then it just kind of swings over here. So here's the piezo. I have the piezo disconnected. I don't think you guys can see that. I'll just kind of get that off. I don't think I can. I have the ground cable on there. I'll just move the camera here. So I have the piezo disabled here. There's a little connector piece that can disconnect. Here you also find the port here for programming messages. So there is a difference here. There are two ports, one for programming messages and then one for actually programming things like the NAC and the like how often the messages go and things like that. But yeah. So here's our actual panel. It's looking a little messy, so I apologize. But this is the panel. So we have our batteries here. I do use the battery hack. And if you guys don't know what the battery hack is, basically you just hook the positive into the non-resettable power, and then you hook it to the battery using the battery cables. It works on most panels, and this is one of those panels that do work. Most of the circuits, like speaker circuits, everything take a resistor. I don't know the exact type of resistors. I'd have to look, but I don't have it with me down here. So, but here are the speaker circuits. We have, or here are the speaker circuits. Here are the trigger circuits, sorry. This is the main circuit that triggers it. It does it through contact closure. So basically when these two wires touch. So if I were to, if I can even find a piece of wire, I don't think I have one. Oh, here we are. So if I have a piece of wire here, and basically this is all it's doing at the panel once it's in alarm. If I just touch these two wires, whoop, and then it should, yeah, there we go.
May I have your attention,
so we'll
please?
see.
May I have your attention,
That's
please?
that.
There has been a fire reported in the
And then
building. Please proceed
just
to
take
the
it off
nearest-
and it'll stop. And that's, you have an option where you can either hook it into the NAC, which is a whole different thing, or you can just have it contact closure. And that's what I have it doing. I have it going up this pipe. It goes up here, it goes into the ceiling, and it loops back, has like a little service loop, and then it goes back to the panel, where it then is, where it is then basically on the relays in there. And I'll show you in just a second here. Just that there. If we just move the little tripod here, and then this goes right here where the relay is. So that's just a general alarm relay. So anytime there's an alarm or anything, it does go to there. Then we'll just go back here. I have a feeling that's not going to be the last time I'm going to show the fire alarm panel. So I'm going to keep that unlocked and open. So basically, that's kind of what this is for. These are what all these are for. There's only two, though, the primary and secondary, that work for contact closure. The rest of them have to have the NACs hooked in. So then moving on, we have our optional ECC. I think it's for either having a secondary circuit, which I do have on there. All of them do, or it converts it to 70. Right now, I just have it for the secondary. My speaker circuits are currently set to 25 volts instead of 70. And I have most of my speakers are on the highest. I think it's 2 watts. So, but I only have like 5 speakers hooked up, so it's not gonna cause any problems. But then we have our optional expander module, basically. And this adds 6 speaker circuits to this. And I think that actually is what this also is for. I'm not really sure. But I just know it's there and it's doing whatever it's doing. So, so yeah. This does require either a class A loop or it requires resistors. My speaker circuit that I have over here, that's hooked in right here, that is what my only speaker circuit is. So all the speakers you see in my testing videos, those are through that speaker circuit right there. And if I disconnect it, it's going to give me a treble, and you'll see the treble right there, speaker circuit 1. And that's because there's a resistor on the last device. And that resistor is what monitors all these devices. And that's what makes it go into normal. Here I have my my little rig for monitoring the system as far as the fire alarm panel goes. So if I'm gonna actually disconnect this. Let's do this. So I gotta grab a thing here. Gotta be delicate with this. There's kind of another thing is that this does pop off. And it's delicate, so you got to be careful. You can't be too rough with it, or you could break the pins. And this is a very expensive part. This is very expensive, so you don't want to break that, because if I broke that, I would not be able to afford a new one. So my ECC would be very, very dead and wouldn't be in use for a very long time. Here are this is again contact closure. So this is where I have my monitor module set up in the fire alarm panel, and that goes to here where I have the I think the FMM1 hooked in as a ECC monitor, and it does pop up, and we'll demonstrate that. So we'll hook that in. I don't think it matters. Pretty sure it just goes to the second one here. Oop. So if we put that in there, we'll hear the fire alarm panel beep. And it'll say audio system ECC-50/100 trouble monitor. And it gives me a trouble at the panel. And now this is primarily, I would say, mostly for monitoring purposes. This does monitor its own troubles, and it is completely it's completely independent. It doesn't rely on the fire alarm panel to tell you where it is, what it is as far as troubles. But I think that definitely is good for monitoring purposes if I had like a phone line hooked up, like a central station or something like that. As far as that goes, I have that disconnected because I want my fire alarm panel to be normal. And I did have it hooked up, but here's the thing. I have a trouble on it, and I don't know what the trouble is. It's not saying it, what the trouble is in the logs or anything like that, and it's not giving me a specific reason. So it's been in trouble. I don't know what it is. It's not affecting my use, so I've just kind of left it alone. Sometimes I prefer to not break things more. So that's kind of that. Here's your main power. Yes, is this probably a fire hazard? Most likely. And, I probably should cut this out, in case my house burns down for insurance purposes. But you know what? We're fine. So this is the power. This is the 120 volts DC in. It can be selected from either, I think, 225 or 120. Obviously, I have it on the 120 because this is residential. We don't have commercial power here. And so, yeah. Here are your EIA inputs. So basically, there's kind of two ways, well, three ways, but I kind of classify it as two. So you can either have contact closure or the 24 volts DC from the fire alarm panel, or you can do it through communication loop like you would in an annunciator. And basically, I do have that hooked up properly. I don't have it set up, but I do have it hooked up. And it does work, but it has quicker response times, and it has just overall better, I feel like, reliability with the contact closure. So I do have that, but basically what I use is Ethernet cable, and then I just have it hooked up. This would go into the EIA on here, EIA 485, sorry. And then basically that goes to the top here, right there, and that goes into there, and it just hooks up like an annunciator. Yeah, so the rest of this stuff, like night ring and stuff, which I think is up here, I don't really know anything about, so I can't provide too much information about that. The rest of it is kind of not what I use and I'm not familiar with. But I hope that this kind of provided enough information, like if you were planning on getting one, or if you were kind of not sure where things went, hopefully this helped a little bit. Or if you're just curious, you know, like I said, I tried searching for videos when I bought this on how to hook it up and stuff like that, but there was quite seriously nothing I could find that helped me. So I had to do a lot of digging in the manuals, and I had to do a lot of digging on documents and stuff. And I do plan on making another video on the programming side of it soon at some point. But like I said, hopefully this helps somebody, and I'm planning to do the same thing with my fire alarm panel. There are a little bit more videos on the fire alarm panel, but still not nearly enough that are helpful. So again, hopefully this helped. I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.